Hey everybody, Stephen Bogran here from Pro Physique, and today what I want to talk about is something that I like to call as MED. Alright, so hey everybody, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. What is MED? What is MED? MED. Med. Now, this is going to be something that I think is going to F a lot of people up. Because I know we always tend to think more is better. MED stands for Minimal Effective Dose. Minimal Effective Dose. This is something that I think is just super duper important for a lot of us to understand and for us to talk about and discuss and talk about what it is. And so it sounds very straightforward. Unfortunately, for a lot of us, it's not so straightforward because of what we're so used to. So many of us are used to extremes. We do these extreme dieting measures. We do these extreme exercise protocols. We do these extreme cardio regimens. We do these extreme this extreme that. Where we just take everything and we switcheroo it around, night and day difference. Oh man, fuck, I'm overwhelmed just thinking about it. I can only imagine how you guys feel when you do these things. And I know maybe sometimes they feel really good, right? And it's like, all right, this is awesome for a time, and you know, I won't see myself doing this in 6 months, or I won't see myself doing this in 2 years, but for now this is okay because I'm going to get that 20 pounds off and then we can go back to normal. And that's exactly why minimal effective dose is so important. It's so important because when we work on the least amount of effort, when we do the least amount of work to garner a decent response, it has the least amount of impact on our lives. And so for most of us who are just trying to lose weight and keep it off and be healthy and in a better spot, a lot of what we need is lifestyle change. And when we do too much lifestyle change at once, we set ourselves up for failure. The reason being, we have to moderate and maintain all those different lifestyle changes that we're not used to at once. Would it not make more sense, and I will argue that the answer is yes, it makes much more sense, to focus on one thing at a time? One of our basic human needs is mastery, to be good at something. Well, guess what we're good at? Probably a lot of the things we're already doing, and we're most certainly comfortable in them. So if we change all those things, take those out, add a lot of new things, it's going to be mentally very difficult for us to stick with that regimen, to stick with those protocols, especially if we don't feel like we're good at it. If maybe we overeat because we went really hard on this dieting protocol. If maybe we were tired because we were sore, so we didn't go to the gym and now we feel like we failed, right? And so we're like, oh, well, I didn't stick to the plan 100%, so I've messed up the plan. And so now I go off the plan. And so now I make more regression away from whatever I just made, or I end up just kind of spinning my wheels back at it. If you're not working out at all, 1 to 2 days a week is positive improvement. It gives us time, it's not overwhelming, and it allows us to build that base and work our way in. If we're just eating whatever we want, well, hey, maybe our improvement, maybe our progress to really set us up for success is just tracking our food and just being aware, learning what that nutrition is, learning what that nutrition looks like. Maybe that's our success, is just tracking and becoming aware. Then, once we're used to tracking, we know how that works, we're being successful. Now maybe we can start working on maybe food choice, or maybe replacing some of the things that are more calorie dense with some things that are nutrient dense, right? Maybe our, biggest hurdle is the mental aspect of it. So maybe we need to start working on some of those mental aspects, like replacing negative thought patterns with positive ones. So every time we have that negative self-talk, oh, I'm not worth it, like, I've done this a million times before and failed, and like, this is so much hard work, like, oh, this is going to afford me this is going to allow me this is going to help me on that, like, Every time, again, the negative self-talk is a big one too. Every time I say, "Oh, I mean, nobody cares anyway," so, but I care, and my friends want to see me successful, and they want to help me be successful, right? And replacing those negative self-thoughts with positive ones. That's another one. So whatever it might be, we don't have to change our entire life in a day. Small habits change lives. Small habit change over time. And so minimal effective dose is all about that same idea in practice. And it helps us to be more successful over time. If we're trying to lose 10 pounds in a couple of weeks, that's probably unrealistic, and it's most certainly going to take some very aggressive measures, right? It's also going to be very hard for us to maintain that body fat loss. A lot of it's probably going to be water weight. However, if we were to lose maybe 10 pounds in 10 weeks, this now becomes a lot more manageable. We only have to average out 1 pound per week in terms of body fat loss. That probably means we can take a less aggressive approach, utilize maybe a mixture of a small calorie cut and a small cardio increase, or a manageable one at the very least, and have that be something that's not going to interrupt life so much to where now when that 10 pounds is gone, we're way off on the other end of the spectrum, right? We're rebounding out because we've been just so, limited in terms of what we have available to us to make that happen. And so whether it be exercise, whether it be cardio, whether it be dieting or food or reversing, minimal effective dose, in my opinion, reigns supreme. When we err on the side of caution, we can always go a little bit harder if you respond well, or if you don't respond, right? We can always increase that. It's hard to go backwards in terms of like, we did too much and we got hurt. Well, let's go backwards. Let's take away some of that training volume. Let's take away some of that training intensity. It's hard to go backwards. So this is really what I want to talk about, is minimal effective dose, making sure that we're setting you up for the long-term success. Because not only is that going to mean, hey, we don't have to work as hard right away. Doesn't mean we won't work hard. It doesn't mean we won't get to a more aggressive approach. But let's not go from A to Z overnight. Let's go from A to B, and from B to C, and from C to D. Let's go one at a time, making sure that we're doing things in the right order to set you up for that long-term success. That's it. And that's all I got today.